Hey everybody! Hey y'all, hey! Hey subs, hey! I am back. I found out some information about letters from Christopher and what the author is saying, when she's going to be on Dr. Oz, and all of that. So let's just wait for some people to hop on. It's 11 o'clock at night, so I don't know who's going to hop on, but I did find out some information about why Cherlyn Cadle kept the chapter about Nicole out, and just a little bit of information. She's really not able to talk or appear on channels right now visually. She can be in the comment section. She can be talking. She appeared on a couple of YouTubers' channels that I watch, and she had some things to say, but she did say that her Dr. Oz episode is going to appear on November 12th, I believe, whenever they do their True Crime Tuesday. So I think, let me look at my calendar, and we will be covering that. And it looks like that is going to be, yes, next Tuesday on the 12th, she is going to be on Dr. Oz. And so we're all looking forward to that. But that is the reason why she hasn't spoke out or said anything, because she really can't. She can't even discuss some parts of her book because of that Dr. Oz contract that she's under. She says that it is rumored that Cherlyn Cadle said that the rumor that got started going around that the baby was not Chris's was started by the Wattbots. She said that Chris knew this and that he told Cherlyn Cadle that he knew all along the baby was his, that he never had any kind of suspicion that it wasn't, and then that was just something that Cindy was starting to make Shanann look bad. She swears that Chris said NK told him to look up the Metallica lyrics. She swore that NK told Chris to look up the Metallica lyrics. Now, I want to just look up those Metallica lyrics. Battery lyrics. And the author was asked this again on this YouTube channel that she was on, and she said herself that Nicole was the one that told him to do that, and after he looked up the lyrics, it made him feel empowered, and that, no, that's not what I want. So there you have it with that. Let's see if I can get it here. And every time I look it up, it has the freaking way that you doesn't have the lyrics by themselves. It's got the sheet music, and I don't need that. We are going to look up the Battery lyrics by Metallica, if I could get it to come up. When I looked them up last time, they came up just fine. Okay, here they are. Let me get my glasses on so I can read these to you. And Cherlyn Cadle swears that Nicole sent them to him. That's what made him feel so empowered and get that rush afterwards. And I just don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe that she had nothing to do with the murders, but just happened to send him these lyrics. Lashing out the action, returning the reaction. Weak or ripped and torn away, hypnotizing power, crushing all that cower. Battery is here to stay. Smashing through the boundaries, lunacy has found me. Cannot stop the battery, pounding out the aggression, turns into obsession. Cannot kill the battery, cannot kill the family. Battery is found in me. Battery, battery. Crushing all deceivers, mashing non-believers, never-ending potency, hungry violent seeker, feeding off the weaker, breeding on insanity, smashing through the boundaries. Lunacy has found me, cannot stop the battery, pounding out aggression, turns into obsession, cannot kill the battery, cannot kill the family. Battery is found in me. Battery, battery. Circle of destruction, hammer comes crushing, powerhouse of energy, whipping up a fury, dominating flurry. We create the battery, smashing through the boundaries. Lunacy has found me, cannot stop the battery, pounding out aggression, turns into obsession, cannot kill the battery, cannot kill the family. Battery is found in me. So she tells him to look up the lyrics. She doesn't say, hey, listen to that Metallica song by Battery. She says, look up the Metallica lyrics. Why? I just don't understand why. And why her phone pinged in Frederick, Colorado at 6:30 a.m. that morning. The author is saying that Chris did not try to put his truck right there to obscure seeing the bodies. He already knew that the camera couldn't see the bodies because he knew all about that camera. She's saying that he put his truck in that driveway to block the red car. She says that there was this red car that all these other YouTubers are talking about. So I don't understand this red car thing. I'm going to have to Google it myself because evidently someone is saying that you see a red car pull off and that Chris's car is blocking this red car and that somebody was there during the murders that drives this red car. So I never gave the red car any kind of like attention until Cherlyn Cadle said it herself that she feels like that somebody was in the red car. I mean, not that I believe the author, she's just as big of a liar as Christopher is, but these are the things that she's saying. She is even saying that she is boggled by NK's text in Frederick, or her ping in Frederick that morning. And we all know she called Chris that morning, or not Chris, she called Jim that morning. And so something does not add up. And I just don't understand it. And the author, Cherlyn Cadle, I know. I feel the same way, Alma. I thought the red car had nothing to do with it either. And then when she brought it up, she made me want to go research it. So I'm going to go see and look at all these ridiculous videos about this red car just because Cherlyn Cadle made me think about it twice. But I'm right there with you that I don't think that the red car had diddly squat to do with anything. She says that she thinks NK was saying to get rid of the lunacy in his family. And even Chris admits to the author that those lyrics empowered him. The author says that the missing chapter about NK will bring some light to what was going on in her apartment. She says that her editor pulled that chapter, that had she done it the way that she wanted to, that we all would have seen that chapter, but the editor pulled that chapter for her book. They just didn't think that she should put it in there. So that tells us that there's something that went on in there in that apartment. And she can elaborate more about those dark things that Chris was talking about in that letter. Thank you, Jennifer. That is so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. So she says that she thinks he backed that truck up, like I said, to block that red car. And she says that the car's not Betty's. So she's definitely been watching some YouTubers. The author brings up the fact that if if he was seeing NK and NK came forward, who didn't come forward? And was Chris seeing someone else? That's what she said. She also says that when she first met Chris and the family, they drilled the fact that Shanann was not a good woman into her head. And so in the beginning, she was all about saving Chris and doing this or that for Chris. But she said that her aha moment or her turning point was when he wrote her that letter saying how he could not believe that people wanted him to suffer by taking his family pictures away. She said that that was the turning point for her. That's when she realized that he was delusional. And what about your family that suffered, or the people that have suffered that have lost a daughter and their grandchildren? And so she said that that was her turning point. And that's when she was just like, you know what? This whole family is nuts. She said that 99% of what Chris and his family say is ridiculous. She says that Chris was sleep deprived, but and he was taking Thrive all the way up until the day he was arrested. But she also said that she took Thrive, and she took it for 3 months because she had fibromyalgia and Shanann had fibromyalgia. And she said that Chris kept bragging about how her fibromyalgia got so much better after doing Thrive, and that he had nothing but good things to say about Thrive. So he's even promoting Thrive behind bars, you guys. And he got this author to buy this Thrive, and it's expensive. The kind that she got is $200 a month. And she said she was taking some other things, and that her son is a police officer, and he decided to take the burn. And that was the one that Chris said was making his heart race or whatever, and making him feel like he worked out all the time. So her son took that, and he said it just gave him some energy. It didn't do a lot. But Cherlyn Cadle had good things to say about Thrive. She actually said that it made her fibromyalgia so much better, and that she felt good, and it really did help. So she said that it definitely didn't make her feel any different, didn't make her heart race or anything like that. And so let's see. She had Cadle said that Chris's lawyers were working on a plea deal. And you know how Chris said in the book, she said that she contradicted herself big time. She said in the book that the lawyers came up with the plea deal and that the district attorney was shocked when they came up with the plea deal. But she said in her interview that they were working on a plea deal. They didn't know if he was going to plead guilty or not guilty. They were working on it, and that the DA came to Chris and had this plea deal because Sandy was the one that decided that she didn't want Chris to get the death penalty. And they brought the plea deal to him with like 5 consecutive life sentences, and Chris didn't want to take it. But then the attorneys talked him into it because they said that he would get put on death row and get put to death. And even if he didn't get put to death, because they haven't really put anyone to death in a long time in Colorado, but even if he didn't, he would be on death row. He would get in solitary confinement. He wouldn't be able to have all his visitors and to do all the things that he does now if he would have been on death row. All right. Yeah, she does contradict herself a lot. The author says Chris is only getting one person visiting him now, and we all know that that's the Anna girl that visits Chris, that defends him like she's his wife, and that's the girl that everybody's saying that they both had a dream that they had a kid together, and all that, blah, blah, blah. Anna's the one that got in the drunk driving accident and had her legs all beat up from it. And so she said that she realized Chris wants people to feel sorry for him. And that, like I said, her turning point was when he could not believe that people wanted him to take those pictures down, and he didn't understand how people wanted to make him suffer. She says that her life was turned upside down by this book. She said that the book is all Chris's opinion, that it's not even about her opinion, but somehow she's catching all this backlash. And yes, Jennifer, they're saying that the plea deal was brought into play because Shanann's mom didn't want the death penalty. So the district attorney wanted to go all after Chris, or the prosecutors wanted to go after Chris hard and sentence him to death. But Sandy said, hey, look, I don't want him sentenced to death. Let's take that off the table. And so that's when the prosecutors decided that they would come up with the plea deal and offer him a plea deal, only because Sandy said not to put him to death. So he got that plea deal, and it was even brought about because Sandy said not to take it to trial and sentence him to death. So, but then again, this is what the author is saying, and we don't know it to be true. She says that she is actually getting death threats to not go to her book signings because there'll be lots of guns there. And she doesn't understand why she's getting these death threats and people are hating on her when all she wrote about was what Chris's opinion was, or what Chris was saying, that she doesn't feel any of this at all, but she doesn't understand why she's getting death threats and that she's terrified. And again, we're supposed to be able to get this missing chapter maybe after she does Dr. Oz. I will keep you posted on that. I don't know if that's really going to happen or not, but evidently we will get NK's missing chapter. Yes, he was definitely NK's puppet, for sure. What do you guys think? Of course, Jennifer. Of course. So I honestly believe that she needs to answer some questions for herself if she's not guilty. I mean, like, write her own book. NK, why don't you write your own book? You know, clear your name. Answer these questions. Let us know why you were Googling the Watts a year before the murders. Let us know why you told Chris to delete his phone. Let us know why you told Chris to move the truck. Let us know why you were calling the rehabs. Let us know why you wanted to protect Jim so bad. So, I mean, the list just goes on and on. Yes, that is my dad in the background. Thank you. I believe that too, Elizabeth. Yep. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that the author thinks that he is using the Bible to talk to her. Like when he comes up with these scriptures and stuff, and that he's using the Bible to talk to people that he writes, and he says he's read it twice. Hey, Patty. Says that he has read that Bible 2 times already. I want some answers to my questions, Mrs. Kessinger. I want some answers. Exactly. And Ronnie didn't act surprised at all when Chris told him that he was having an affair. He didn't act surprised at all about when he said, what'd you do? You just hauled him off. He didn't act surprised about, he didn't say, what'd you do? You hauled off the bodies? He was just like, so then what'd you do? Haul off the bodies or something? So Ronnie's lack of emotion too is a little strange. Yes, exactly, Jennifer. I would want my name cleared too, but she can't clear her name because she is guilty. And wouldn't it be great if some like just YouTube detective busted this case wide open and found that one piece of evidence that the officers missed, and we were able to just drag her butt into jail and it went down in history like that these people were able to get her. I mean, I know that I'm just wishing and hoping and that's not going to happen, but yeah, I mean, she was even Googling Amber Fry's net worth. So in the beginning, she saw it as a big money sign. And then she decided, oh, I better not do that because she's guilty. Yes, girl. If we could just bust her out. Hey, baby girl, that's my daughter. Hey, girl. Yep. So they didn't give us any details on the Patrick Frazee case, of course, about what happened after recess. And that bothers me. Maybe she did get a plea. Maybe. Oh, that would be awesome, Patty. I do plan on going back to school once I get my son squared away. Maybe by the time he hits middle school. I would love to. Love it. He is actually up way too late right now, juicing up the internet. So, get some nerds in my life. Yeah, none of her, I was wondering that today. Why has none of her neighbors in the apartment that she was in been interviewed? Never was one of her neighbors interviewed about seeing Chris over or anything. That is very true. Dr. Phil would not have taken this on if there wasn't some form of evidence. And I'm super excited about his episode tomorrow. His fill in the blanks is tomorrow, The Devil Beside Me. I do believe it is tomorrow, you guys. And then we got the Dr. Phil episode or we got Dr. Phil's podcast tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, we have the Dr. Oz episode. And then over the weekend, I am going to go over NK's second interview when she finally took the phones in and she couldn't get her contacts over from one to another. So I'm looking forward to doing that over the weekend. And I will probably be going live for everything now, you guys. I probably won't be making any more videos and waiting 4 hours for them to upload. I will probably always just go live. Yes, the silence is very odd, Val. Very, very odd. It is ridiculous. I mean, I am just waiting for next week when this author can talk a little bit more than she is. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yep. And does anyone know what NK's dad does for a living? Like, what was his occupation? Does anybody know that? And I still haven't been able to find out when NK started working at Anadarko. I know she didn't work for Anadarko and she was contracted through a different company, but when did her contract start? No one is able to tell me that. When did her contract start? Oh, for sure, because Jim travels a lot. She already admitted that Jim is out of town a lot, and that's why she gave an apartment to her key, or a key to her apartment. But there was also another boy that was mentioned. I think his name was Daniel. She said she hung out with with Daniel on Friday, the night before she went out with Chris. So why has this Daniel guy never been interviewed? I thought her dad was a cop or a lawyer too. That was exactly what I thought. But I mean, because he like jumped right in and was like, "No, you're leading." And then he says, "Nikki, wait," and he won't, or Nick, wait, and you can tell that must be what he calls Nikki, and basically doesn't want her to answer one of the questions. Yeah, that's true. She didn't really know all the details of what he had done when she said no death penalty. That's right. That's absolutely right. I wonder if I don't know, she's pretty she has a very deep faith, so I strongly believe that that is part of her faith. I think that her faith is real, and that no matter what, no matter how cruel or dark that it got, that she would have wanted his life to be saved. But we won't know. Nobody will know until Sandy writes her book. And I'm wondering who all John talked to on his book. His book is called The Perfect Father. So I'm wondering who he talked to, and if he talked to Chris, or how he got his information. Hmm. I got to figure out how to bring people on too. I want to be able to bring people on and talk about domestic violence stories. So we've got to figure out how I can bring somebody on. There's the little thing for split screen. What does that do? Invite a guest to see how this layout is unique. Up to 5 guests can join you on StreamYard. I'm going to have to figure out how to invite. I'll invite my sister, or my daughter. Does anyone know NK's dad's name? No, I don't know. Does anyone? That would be cool. That would be super cool. So, and someone else pointed out that she Googled, what was it? Will the man I'm having an affair with leave his wife? And Dr. Phil actually pointed that out. If she didn't know that they were still together, why did she Google affair instead of the man that is separated? Will he leave his wife? Oh, I'm not having any mods. I'm not having any mods until I get to 2000, so I'm not even going to worry about mods until then. But um, when I get to 2000, I will try to get some mods. So between now and 2000, I'll be looking out for people to see who has my best interest, and pick some moderators. I do have family members that I could get to be my mods. The dad's name is Dwayne Kessinger, you guys. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much, Caroline. That is sweet. It's okay. I mess up with talk to text all the time. All the time. And thank you for looking out. Elma. I get that 100%. Got to. And I don't want people blocking people. You know what I mean? That's hard to give that power up to someone else, because I might agree with what that person's saying, and then I have a moderator that doesn't agree with that person saying, and they're going to delete their comment when I want their comment to be there. So it's I'm also a control freak, so it's going to be really hard. My daughter will do it for me. I know when I hit 2,000, I will get her to do it. I think I'll only have a moderator per 1,000. Plus, when he got to the station, they spoke from the airport in the car. So I'm positive he told his dad something. Yes, he picked his dad up from the airport, didn't he? Didn't he pick up his dad from the airport and then go to the station afterwards? I'm pretty sure that's how that went down. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Yes, he did. He picked up his dad from the airport, and I've flown out of that airport lots of times if he picked him up from Denver International, and which is the closest one. And it's quite a ways from Frederick. Okay, you guys. So they had plenty of time to talk from Denver International Airport to Frederick. I believe it's an hour. From what I remember, they had an hour to talk. Hey, Ashley. So he was all filled in by the time he and his dad probably told him not to say anything. His dad was like, look, you don't know what they have on you, so don't say a word. And then that's why he wanted his dad in there so bad, is because he wanted to let his dad know first that he couldn't hold up the facade anymore, that he was busted. You are a sweetheart. You don't got to do that. I don't even know how to accept money on here, so you don't got to do that. There's no way he didn't say that, because Ronnie would have been asking questions like crazy. Exactly. Exactly. He did not act caught off guard at all by anything that Chris said. And the fact that he said, and then what'd you do? You haul the bodies out of there or something? I mean, that was just too staged. Yeah, he was not a concerned grandpa. Yes, why is the Nate not, his interviews weren't up? I never saw Sandy's interview. I never saw Jamie's interview. What happened to those interviews? I know no one can find a date for when NK started Anadarko. I've been asking this for a year now. Nobody can find that date. It is bizarre. Oh, how bizarre. Oh, how bizarre. So, what do YouTubers do when they have to go to the bathroom? Do they sign out and come back in? Do they run and go real fast? Is this too much information for me to be asking? My bathroom is just right there. So, or do they just hold it? Yeah, he's just, it was bizarre that he, and then I don't know, if he was that loving of a father, wouldn't he have like hugged his son afterwards, and maybe they cried over his grandchildren? I don't know. That was just a very odd response. On NK's phone a year before was a typo. I don't know if I believe that though. Wear diapers. That's hilarious. There was a rumor saying NK's dad was her boss at Anadarko. Okay. All right. I'm going to see if y'all really will wait. I'm going to be back. I'm back. Oh my gosh, you guys did wait. Everybody is here. I did not think that was going to happen. Yes, he did sound like a cop. I definitely agree. Or a lawyer. He definitely had some kind of stature in that town. He's apparently a powerful man, but if you look him up, the cover photo on his Facebook says Watts, which is creepy. Huh, that is creepy. Are you sure that's his Facebook and not a troll pretending to be him? We all know about those. That is funny, Alma. You're cracking me up over here. I just found out there are people that have YouTube channels that just like make noises, ripping sounds, and what's the name of that, you guys? There's a name for it. People that like are satisfied from hearing sounds, tearing and chewing and all of that. Yes, Daniel. She says this in the interview. I have it written down and I never picked it up before, except I was writing it down. She said, Daniel came over on Friday. She hung out with Chris on Saturday at the Lazy Dog. And she said that Jim came over on Monday. ASMR. Yes. Thank you, Terry J. Thank you. Everybody's saying it now. See, I didn't know. You guys are all pros, man. You guys are all pros. Yeah. Daniel, let me find the exact spot, you guys. I can tell you. I have it written down. I wrote it down with her words. I'm pretty sure it was towards the end. I will find the exact one for you guys. But I didn't notice it either until I wrote it. I wrote it down when they were asking her in her interview. Okay, here it is. I found it. Okay, it's when they're talking about the camera and when she went over to Chris's house and she went over to Chris's house and the agent asked her if she talks about how she noticed clean carpets and that the furniture had been moved. She said she knew about the camera because of media. She said she thought during that call maybe he is waiting up for her. She remembers him saying he needed to go straight to the field Monday morning, but doesn't say the next morning. It was Sunday when this call took place, but told NK that he won't see her at the office. She said, not uncommon. This is when she says this, you guys. She says, Daniel came over Friday, hung out with Chris Saturday. Jim came in on Monday. She says Chris went to a birthday party on Sunday. She said Daniel, you guys, and it was the first time I noticed it too. Who in the heck is Daniel? And I got it right from the interviews. If you want to go check it out yourself. And I told you where it falls at. Right after she is talking about what I just told you, the carpets being cleaned and the furniture being blocking the doorway. So the mental is worse than the physical. The bruises heal, but the mental effects that domestic violence has on a person will be long lasting. It will take just as long to heal you as it did to break you. So if you were in a domestic violence relationship for 6 years and it was just horrible the whole time, it will take 6 years to build you back up. NK says, how could he do that to someone that is that big? Did she use hand gestures? Has she seen the kids? It's odd she refers to the children size rather than age. Yes, and we don't know if she used hand gestures, Slim Shady, because that is a audio recording only that we have that on. There was no video recording with that. Yes, Jennifer, we need to find Daniel. I wish we could find Daniel. And she also talks about how the weekend before that one of her friends came into town and that she hosted her. So she was talking about how her and Chris got space from each other all the time and that whenever she said she wanted to hang out with her friend, she could. In fact, her friend just showed an inopportune, or she used a big word for a surprise visit, and that she hosted her. So okay. Sorry, I was reading charts. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I wanted to know who this girlfriend was that came into town. And man, her house is just a revolving door. She gave Chris a key, Jim a key. This girl stayed the weekend after that. I do too, Janine. I do too. Yeah, it does seem like she had a lot of people around her. And I find it hard to believe that he didn't meet some of these people when he was he admitted in the second confession that he stayed at NK's house every night in July while Shanann was gone. Every single night. And if on a 3-day period she has Daniel there one night, goes out with Chris on another night, and Jim on a Monday, that's just normal activity. So I'm sure that was going on the whole time she was there too. Yes, by her Google searches, she was Google searching DP and anal sex and lots of stuff to suggest that she was a freak. I agree. I could have swore NK would too. I thought she would put one, she would have one out first because remember, she searched that. She searched Amber Fry's book deal. Yes, I thought it was a drug house too, and that's why she wanted Jim out of it. She wanted to make sure that Jim never, ever, ever got interviewed by the police. She wanted to make sure that Jim didn't even see the police or even hear of the police. She tried to pretend like Jim didn't even know about the Chris thing. He wouldn't have seen it on the media because he works out of town all the time and he wouldn't know. Even the agent finds it hard to believe and says, so you don't think Jim knows even after all the media coverage. So that she's a hot mess. Either Jim's the Oxy guy and she was trying to protect him. She has all that traffic in and out. I also find it odd that she tells the cops that she called Chris back within 15 minutes of that 3:45 text the day of the murders. Now, I find it really odd that she said that she called him back on her patio within 15-20 minutes, but phone records show that she did not call Chris back until 5 o'clock. That's an hour and 15 minutes that she spent with Jim. Chris has already told her that there's cops at his house. So whatever Jim's got going on and whatever Jim's doing is more important than Chris, the love of her life, saying cops are at his house and his family is gone. So only thing that I can think of would be more important than that was an addict that wanted her pills that she was maybe selling to everybody so she could get hers for free. She maybe, when Chris went to North Carolina, decided that she was going to call a rehab and try to get into one and be better for him so she could have him a baby. But this is all speculation. This is all just my mind racing and me wondering and trying to put the dots together. So, no, it was not a typo. Rourke planned on questioning her to tell her she knew of the couple a year before, but Chris's guilty plea called that off. Thank you, Nika Thompson. So, I mean, I'm trying to figure out why she's trying to protect Jim so much, why she was on the rehab call for 22 minutes, why she called Chris before she called the rehab and after she called the rehab. So it makes me think that they talked about the rehab. Which Scarlet Letter? The father and Chris Watts knew that there were cameras in the room, and I hated the position of Chris Watts. Yes, exactly. I did too. We just got his back the whole time. Thank you, Jennifer. I mean, my brain is racing. I'll probably come up with a few more before it's all said and done. As I get information, my thoughts change. You see, in the beginning, I thought NK was innocent and that everybody was just railroading her, and I was team NK. But then I started finding bits and pieces of information. Chris started talking more, and I came to the conclusion, whoa, there's too many inconsistencies, and you did way too much sketchy stuff for me to believe that you are just innocent. No blood on your hands. I find that hard to believe. I believe that she was a contractor for Anadarko, so she worked for someone else. Maybe that someone else was her dad. I've heard that before. I've heard that her dad owned the company that she worked for, but then why would they fire her? So that doesn't make sense to me. So you don't even think that she is guilty of lying and hiding stuff, Price? And you're free to you say your opinion here. Like I said, I didn't believe that she was guilty of anything in the beginning either, until I found out her phone pinged in Frederick, Colorado at 6:30, few hours after the murders, and I found that she was Googling wedding dresses and that she Googled the man I'm having an affair with leave his wife, and she Googled them a year before, and she told him to delete his phone. She told him to move his truck. So that's the only thing. I got you. I know the story of the Scarlet Letter, if that's what you're talking about. I agree, Ashley. Thank you, Cam. I do too, Jennifer. Thank you, Janine. Yes, I do. I do. And I want you guys, my mind is open when it comes to this. I can be swayed. So, if you bring me hard facts, which they have trickled in slowly, her searches and her cell phone pings and things like that, and me rewatching the interviews, and I can be swayed. I really can. But I need something to answer these unanswered questions first. If these dots are connected, if she says, "Oh, I was in Frederick that morning for this," or "I let someone borrow my phone," or whatever, but she hasn't answered any of these unanswered questions. And I don't think that it's worth to them for her to be in protection. I think she might just be sipping on Mai Tais in some nice city in Mexico, like Puerto Vallarta, or some cruise city somewhere tropical. We don't even know if she's in this country. Yeah, I agree. It's weird. I think it's very weird that they went back and interviewed him. He's already facing 5 consecutive back-to-back life sentences without the possibility of parole, but they went back to interview him. So that's another reason why I think that she's guilty. Yes, yes, point taken, Price. I understand that. I just want some answers to maybe 3 of my 8 questions, and then maybe I'll sway more towards she's not. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. And the whole rehab call, it was a 22-minute call. It wasn't like she just called and hung up. And there's also another call that NK makes to the police department at one time, but it didn't go through. They must have hung up. So it's just too many inconsistencies. Yep. You're exactly right, Ashley. Exactly right. It's just not right. And she's just like Chris, and she doesn't use their names in the interviews. Like, she don't know their names. She would barely say Shanann's name, and he had to ask her if it was okay. And she goes, Shanann. After she was direct and bold about Jim. Oh, no, Jim. I mean, but she said whenever she was lying, she would get really quiet. Oh, she was late to work. I didn't know that. I want to know that too, Bad Bish. Why did they not ask her why she texted him to move his truck? Anyone give me a plausible reason why she told him to move the truck? Plausible reason. Oh, wow. That street where the red car was seen might be a back entrance to the basement for all we know. And I want to know what they talked on that 111-minute call too, because Chris says it was phone sex and she says that she can't remember. That she only remembers that she heard a TV in the background and she thought it was odd because she knew there wasn't a TV in the basement. And this is after she says in the same interview that it bothered her that Chris told her he loved her while he was laying in bed with another woman. So the night that Shanann was supposed to come home, she catches him upstairs with the TV in the background, and they argue for 111 minutes because he's in the bed waiting on her to get home, and he's supposed to have done that by now. Because remember, her flight was delayed. So if she was in on it, she wanted that done by 10:30 when she got home, and they're still on the phone at 11 o'clock. It's not done yet, and she's mad that he's waiting in the bed for her. Yep, she doesn't have an answer about the ping in Frederick. She kept eluding the question with the 111-minute phone call. I can go into it right now. I have it all written down. The whole interview is written down right here. And because I wrote it down, it is embedded in my brain. And she did not want to answer that question. I agree. I mean, unfortunately, it's a witch hunt because people want justice because there was no trial with Chris. So people feel like the girls didn't get justice and that somebody needs to, answer for this or whatever. Because Chris is in Club Med. Chris is having a good old time. I think Chris likes prison more than he liked his life outside of prison. He thinks he's a mentor, a chaplain, and he's going to get to that kid, that 21-year-old kid that killed the parents of the girl he kidnapped. And yep. Yep. I agree. I agree. I agree. And that's why I say my mind is open. You guys can help me with anything because at this point, I have nothing but speculation and questions. Yep. Yep. She did say that. Chris was adamant about his parents getting his tools to sell for the airfare. Why did he not ask his parents for anything else? Do you think he may have hidden something there? Yeah, they said that he had $25,000 in tools and they only got $3,000 for them. So why would you sell them for so cheap if they were worth so much? Impromptu, which is a big word for her, LOL. NK speaks of it in her second interview. On NK's second visit to her. Oh, Mama, have you ever watched Miss Jade's channel? If not, you should subscribe. Okay, Cam. Nikki also told him to pawn. I might be subscribed to Miss Jade. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. He also told him to pawn Shanann's wedding ring before they even knew she wasn't coming back. Exactly. And I said that in other videos. Like, if you really think that she's at a friend's house for the night and you and Chris have talked about her coming back, you're not going to say pawn the ring. You're not going to text it so the police can see it either. The same night she stayed on the phone with Chris while he was speaking to law enforcement. They didn't ask any of these questions. They let Kevin take hold of that conversation. And do you know that in her second interview, she is talking a lot of times in this interview that I transcript, you guys, and the agent interrupts her. Like when she's trying to say something that I really want to know about, he interrupts her and finishes her sentences. It was crazy. Yep. She was talking, and for some reason, I'm sorry, but the agent dropped the ball on in-case interviews big time. It is what it is. And he tells her at the beginning that he's not charged, and he keeps telling her that she doesn't have to tell him things, and then asks her to answer the question, but ahead of time says she don't have to tell me these. Of course, she didn't feel any pressure in the interview at all. Let's see. Why is this not working? They let someone interview her that she flirted with the entire time. Tammy should have grilled that. Yeah, that's true. I do agree. I do agree. Yep. Just a theory. Do you think they gave her immunity because they didn't know Chris was going to plead guilty and they thought they would need her testimony? I okay, so sorry. So sorry. We're back. Am I working, you guys? Is it working? Can you guys see me? Yes, perfect. Okay. So sorry. Um, we were just saying all kinds of stuff, and I was really all up in that. Okay, so let's see what I can. Mama, where'd you go? Just when you were going to give me your thoughts on the immunity idea. Yeah, I think since I saw them do that with Crystal, but the problem is that he pled guilty, so they didn't need her. So I don't know why they're not coming after her hot and heavy now that they don't need her anymore. You think there's a lot of Nate's videos that was not released to the public? Okay, I got you. I wish I could get my hands on some of those. Yes, Frank did say cameras don't lie. So, I don't know. It's just so confusing. It is so confusing. But I am loving that we are putting our brains together. I don't believe she fooled them. They knew who they were dealing with and had to play it cool, or she would have went to the media or to the Mia. Then Chris pleads guilty, so he effed it all up. I wish the cops would have asked him what he meant about the she wasn't supposed to be there. That bothers me a lot. I just tried to take a top off that wasn't on. I don't know what part you're talking about, Terry J. She wasn't supposed to be there. And that, if you're talking about that part, then what if Bella wasn't supposed to be there when he killed her mom and the girls were supposed to survive? And they woke up while he was killing Shanann. Yeah, Frank did say Camerons don't lie. I know Sandy does believe that NK was involved. That's right, Ashley. Julie, she looked like the type to be in a pawn shop. Yeah, Bella wasn't supposed to be there. Sandy's coming out with a book. Yes. No, I meant missing in action story for the confusion. Be careful, Janine. We will never know, Terry J. Okay. I never saw Chris really cry. I thought that was all fake cry. Both him and NK. And their fake cries. Mm-hmm. I love Dr. Phil's side of it all, too. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe that he would come out with all this if the Ruseks weren't okay with it or gave them the information. He may have gotten the information from the Ruseks. The Dr. Oz interview is on the 12th. It is next Tuesday. A week from yesterday. Jody. Or, I'm sorry, who asked me that? Jacqueline. It's on the 12th. It's on his True Crime Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's the 12th, not the 15th, Carol Williams. I wonder about the red card too, Bad Bish. The author was talking about the red card today or a couple of days ago on another channel. The only reason why I'm saying Tuesday the 12th is because that's when he does his true crime. Dr. Oz always does true crime on Tuesday. So, but I also heard the author say that it was the 12th. Oh no, I'm not going to interview her. She wouldn't let me interview her. I have been very strong in my opinion about that author. I mean, it's not nice to interview someone that you're not fond of. I just don't think that that's ethical. Thank you, Trisha Bowl. Carol, don't apologize. Thank you, Jody. Hello from Costa Rica. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, I mean, it's Sean King. Maybe is that why his carpets were wet? Why was the carpets wet and the furniture moved in front of the door when NK went? So I don't know. It's possible. If you don't agree about what, Ashley? I do too, Jennifer. I believe she's in another country too, Stephanie. It's not dangerous when your family has been killed. They know things we don't. And if they say that they believe she's involved, then there's more to it. Yes, Jennifer, I agree. Price, don't come in here being a, you know what, we all respected what you had to say. He already got blocked. So, no need for that. I tried. And he kept on, so. So basically, my mind wanders and wanders. Every day, I can think up of a whole nother scenario of how it possibly went down. And so I just can't stop until I get some kind of answers. And then, most of my missing pieces are with Nicole. There's been no sightings on NK. No one has no idea where she is. She's probably in another country. And I don't think that she wasn't really a witness. Since he got a plea deal, there wasn't any witnesses. So she wouldn't be in witness protection program. And just nobody's seen her. So she's got to be just off the grid. And I mean, I lived in Mexico for 2 years, and you can do it really easily. You can get a work permit there and be able to stay there. So all you got to do is get a job, and I got a driver's license there and everything. So she's probably in another country. Exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, it's all speculation at this point, and that we all can, put in our thoughts. Well, Dr. Phil does do another podcast tomorrow, so I will be giving you guys the deets on that. I'll go live and give you the deets on that the second that it airs. So he usually does them on Thursday. From what I gathered, they've been coming out every Thursday, and of The Devil Beside Me. So I will be doing a video on that. So we'll know what Dr. Phil has to say tomorrow. And he always saves the best for last. The last video, he said that their bones were broken. And I just don't feel like he would say that and do that to the Ruseks if they didn't give him permission to do so, and if they didn't give him that information that themselves. So maybe she's with Jim. Maybe she ran off to be with Jim. Maybe she's with Daniel. Who knows? I watch Armchair Detective every once in a while. When he had Carolyn in the chat, he had Cherlyn Cadle in his chat. He said that he's going to have her on after she goes on Dr. Oz. But I have seen it all over YouTube about the red car. Somebody thinks that the red car was there for him. And then the video on Nate's camera footage with the white van with no windows. The neighbor said there was a suspicious white van. I remember telling the detective she had gotten another job and she was moving and happy, and that it was a job she really liked. Is there a job titled Family Destroyer? I think that's one of the reasons why he sealed the kids' medical records, because he broke their bones. Yes, agreed. And Trisha Bowl, I agree on that too. Totally agree. Okay, well, I hate to do this to you guys, but I am going to have to wrap it up, and I will come back tomorrow and do this some more and go over an NK some more, because we all have some very valid thoughts, and I think it's great. I have some wonderful subscribers. Y'all really are awesome. And I'm super tired. I started this live thing at like noon today, trying to go live. I spent 3 hours trying to figure out how to go live. And then when I finally did, I was like pumped on it. And I did like an hour, and then I did another hour. And then I said I wasn't coming back. And then I came back and did another hour. So you guys get used to seeing me. We are going to talk some more about this and catch up. I'll be able to find out more about the Patrick trial. So definitely expect 3 videos from me tomorrow. One about Nicole, one about Patrick, and the other one about my Asperger's. And they're all going to be live from this point, because I love interacting with you guys at the same time. I love getting your input. And I'm super excited about my channel, and I couldn't do any of this without you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night, all.